Hi all, this is Param. In this video we will see what are the different type of roles are supported or can a node or instance play. Okay, what is the benefit? Okay, and why do we have to have segregate these many roles? In fact, right? Okay, what is the advantage? Okay, what is purpose? What is the use case of that? That also we can discuss. Very simple. A node or a instance of Elasticsearch, okay, it will do lot of things, right? It can do machine learning activities. It can do ingesting activities, indexing activities. Okay, it can do request processing of a search request. Okay, it can do watcher executions. Okay, it can monitor all the different scheduled or alert tasks. Okay, these are high level, right? But in low levels, okay, it can do start reallocations. Okay, and okay, rebalancing. Okay, so like that. Okay, there are a lot of activities are happening within the Elasticsearch. That's why they, I believe, that's why this is my assumption. Okay, that's why they selected Java as a platform for developing Elasticsearch, because the multi-thread pooling of threads is very easy to achieve in the Java language, Java platform or JVMs. Okay, so that could be one of the reasons I believe they have selected Java. Okay, so though other platforms are supported, okay, maybe C or C++, okay, or Python or any other, okay, I don't know. Okay, though other platforms are supported, Java is very easy, very straightforward. It gives a lot of API to work with thread pool and thread execution, controlling thread execution, status of threads. There are many things that, of course, even we can tweak some of the features threads. Okay, the threads using JPA. So that's kind of facilities are available in the Java language. Okay. Okay, as I told you, the Elasticsearch can play many different roles. I mean, a single instance can have all these tasks. Okay, but assume that the volume of data is very less, or volume of request is very less. It's controllable. It's very less or very minimal. Then a single node is enough. Okay, a single node can play all the roles. Okay, a single node can play all the roles. But when we go for more volume of data, more volume of request processing, or more volume of threads, sorry, the watcher, or more volume of alerts, or more volume of machine learning analysis, okay, or a very huge end user for accessing reports or a dashboard, okay, then in that case, obviously it would be good if we have the response, if we segregate, if we have the Elasticsearch instance with a dedicated role. It has a dedicated instance have for dedicated roles. Okay, so that is how they started introducing their roles. Okay, or you can say set type as well. Okay, fine. So obviously master node, okay, or master eligible node. Okay, so usually the master node or master eligible node, what will happen? So master node is where master node role is important for any cluster. Okay, so without master node there is no cluster. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so in fact master node okay, yeah, fine. Master node, the role of the master node, it has to take care of the cluster state. In fact, okay, all the cat API, especially, okay, all the and then the RESTful API, there is one category called category, okay, cat APIs, okay, or a set of group of APIs, okay, we call it cat API. You should be familiar. I mean, most of the cat API response or cat API response content data from the cluster state, right? Okay, then all the so all the cluster state has to be maintained by the master node. So that is first thing. Okay. Second thing, cluster status, either yellow, blue, red, something, okay, or white, okay. So all the things are red, green, yellow. I think, yeah, red, green, yellow. Okay, all the things are maintained by the master. Again, deciding any node goes down or makes rebalancing when node ups. Okay, okay, that things takes care by the that is decided by the master node. Okay, and of course. Like this, okay, like the what else, cluster state, okay. So everything's, in fact, the configuration also, propagating all the configuration settings to the different nodes also, it's handled by the master nodes, okay. So that these are the tasks for the master node, okay. So we will have the master node, 1 or 2 or 3 master node, okay. If it has more number of, let's say you have minimum 20 plus instance of node, so in the instance of Elasticsearch, then that time you will have at least minimum 3 master node roles will be there. Okay, Okay, then master eligible. Obviously, every node is master eligible. Okay, but if you want to indicate, hey, only these type of only these kind of three nodes act as a master eligible. Okay, and then remaining node you don't text you never think you never play that. Okay, a master role. Okay, something like that. Okay, so if you want then you can say master eligible. Then what is it? So what are the nodes are master eligible? Only those node will be elected as a master if the current masters goes down. Okay, that is the master eligible nodes. Okay, even voting only. Okay, so that is master eligible node. Okay, the voting only node is there. Okay, so what is it will never act as a master node. Okay, they will call it as a tiebreaker, right? Okay, so it can vote for the master node. Okay, he can say like who want to be master node. Okay, let's say you have three node or two node something, then we can say he can part of that which node has to be which node can be which can be elected as a master node. That is what voting only. Okay, voting only master eligible nodes. Okay, okay, then that is what the master node. Then remote eligible node means what? Okay, yes, you know, right, remote cluster. Okay, cross cluster application, cross cluster search. Okay, that means so you know, instead of single node we can have many node, that's fine. Okay, again many node form is a cluster. Okay, but you can have different cluster as well. Okay, you can you can have cluster as well, different cluster for the region perspectives. Okay, so let's say you have customer. Okay, that customer some of the customer Asia specific, some of the customer Europe specific. Okay, so obviously your data center available in both places, right? But you want to do analysis. Okay, you want to do collect, you want to monitor both regions data center, right? Server status, or let's say whatever it, log or anything. Okay, then what is it? See, you can have two separate cluster, one for India region, so one for Asia specific region, or another for Europe regions. Okay, so what is it? So this is here you are having two cluster for the same customer. Okay, okay, so in this case what is now from one cluster to another cluster, data has to be maybe need to be exchanged. Okay, for sake of cluster what is that, any recovery. Okay, any disaster recovery, that's another, that is one reason. Or data also can be changed, right? Say only the what is see customer access from the India, so only those data can be moved to the India or something, that's right. Or region specific things can be happen. So the communication has to be happened between these two, right? That is the no, that is the for the activities like coordination, data exchanging, or looking for any changes something. Okay, all of these can be done by this dedicated node. That is what remote eligible node. That means what? So I have a cluster in Asia specific, I have one remote eligible node. Okay, so what is any remote, so the cluster in the Europe, okay, cluster, okay, they will communicate to this particular remote eligible node in Asia Pacific. So remote eligible node run in the Asia Pacific cluster. Okay, so cluster from the European specific, they can send the request to the master remote eligible node. So that means dedicated remote eligible node. Okay, right. Okay, then data node. Obviously, data node is very big. Okay, before that I will cover other stuff. Okay, coordination node. Okay, coordination node. So it's very simple. Okay, so coordination node, right? Obviously, it will receive the request. The request may be in indexing, or the request may be any settings. Okay, any setting changes or configuration changes. Okay, because of what is all the settings in Elasticsearch we can categorize dynamic and static. Okay, all the static configuration has to be declared in the Elasticsearch.oml file, but by the dynamic settings you can set or enable, disable, or change the value of the dynamic variables using the API itself. Okay, that is a beauty, you know. So that means what is otherwise for all the settings, for the advantages, for some of the settings I don't want to restart my cluster, right? Okay, if it is static setting, to reflect that static settings, cluster has to be restarted. Okay, say for example, if you are configuring your Outlook Outlook profile in your Elasticsearch.yml file, once you configure, you have to restart all of your cluster nodes. Okay, since it is static, okay, you cannot do dynamically. Okay, so that is host. Okay, so some of the settings are dynamic, some of the settings are static. All the dynamic settings can be changed dynamically. Okay, that also kind of comes under API request. Okay, okay. Then similarly, the query searching a request, query DSLs. Okay, okay, query DSL. Okay, then dashboard request from the Kibana and all. Okay, so indexing from the beats. So there are different type of requests. Okay, now coordination node will distribute the task to the across the different data node. Okay, that is the role of coordination node. Then ingest node. Okay, so ingest pipeline, right? Ingest node and ingest pipelines. Okay, both are same. Okay, so we will be using logstash if you want to have more processing. If you have more like data processing. Okay, I can move like this. Okay, okay. Let me stretch now. Okay, cool. Okay, so whatever the logic, at least I would say minimum 80% of pipeline processing, whatever processing happened in the logstash, that can be shifted to that Elasticsearch as ingest pipeline. The advantage is what is it's available. It is there in server itself. It is very easy to change. Okay, by the API request itself you can change. That's it. Very easy. Okay, so. Let's say you are the injection rate is very high, then obviously what is we can have dedicated node because of all the incoming document has to be processed right before indexing. Okay, so instead of depending on instead of distributing many node, okay, we can have dedicated node. Okay, based on the capacity, based on the request volume of data, okay, size of the data or amount of processing needed. Okay, so we can have a dedicated ingest node. Okay, so all the ingesting of data happened through this ingest node. Okay, ingest pipelines. Okay, so because the pipeline has to be executed, right? Okay, so in that case you can have dedicated node. It's available within the cluster. Okay, it's very easy to manage, to change the cluster ingest pipelines. Okay, when compared with the logstash pipelines. Okay, and it comes to part of the again there are several advantages when compared with them. It can access the local index. It can access, there are many stuffs are there. Okay, of course logstash also has many benefit. I am not denying that because of ingest pipeline can output to the only the Elasticsearch in as of now today. We don't know before even tomorrow, but as of now the Elasticsearch, sorry, ingest pipeline, it can send it to the output to the own Elasticsearch only, not even remote cluster of Elasticsearch. Okay, it cannot possible. Okay, but it can access the ingest data. So very simple. So I tell you one of this use case. Okay, if you have any batch process, let's say your batch you are having transaction data, but transaction element field has to be updated based on some static data, then that is a good option, right? Okay, you can keep all the static data within the other index. Okay, and you can pull the data and do the lookup and replace the value. That's what there are different kind of tasks there. Okay, anyway, whatever it is simple or high. Okay, so you can have dedicated ingest node. Machine learning node. Okay, it's really awesome. Okay, so machine learning, obviously it will build machine learning node, it will generate. Okay, it will analyze the data, it will build the model, right? Obviously it support four type of my machine learning type: anomaly detection, outline reduction, regression, classification. Only these four types of supported as of now. Okay, and then the data source can be either data feed or data frame analytics. Okay, data frame or data feeds, either two. Okay, these two can be data source. Okay, and it is mandatory. Okay, even though it is optional, coordination node is optional, ingest node is optional, master eligible node is optional, remote eligible node is optional, master node is okay. Okay, so you can okay, but if you want to have, you are having one node. Okay, but if you want machine learning, you must have at least one separate node, dedicated node for machine learning. Okay, it's a mandatory. Okay, I think I have to put that color. Okay, it is mandatory. It is not optional like other node types. Okay, so if you want to learn, if you want to run your machine learning jobs, okay, machine learning jobs on your ingested data, obviously, right, ingested data, you should have dedicated machine learning nodes. Okay, now remember transformation node. Okay, I'll tell you. See, what is a transformation? Obviously what is the indexed data. Okay, indexed data is a columnar fashion. It is not entity based, right? Okay, it's a key value pair, right? But like RDB is entity centric. Okay, entity centric means entity means that any entity can be identified by its unique value. Okay. So okay, so or if you want to create pivotal centric data or entity centric data, then we will be defining transformations. Transformations will read input data from the input index, and it pushes its output once it transformed data in the output index. Okay, so that's how transformation. The transformations are mainly useful for data frame analytics. Okay, data frame analytics is part of the Elasticsearch. Why it can be straight line, no need to be dot line. In fact, Okay, so that is what transformation node. So transformation nodes node is useful when you are having data frame analytics. Even for anomaly data detection, you don't need to have transformation. That is my understanding. Okay, so for data frame analytics only, we will do transformations of data. In that case, obviously, you can have dedicated node. Okay, then the last and but important node is what? Data node. So data node means which is actually having the data. All the shards are allocated within this node, in this node. Okay, okay, between among these data nodes. Okay, we will have minimum at least. Okay, if it is 3 node cluster, at least all the minimum 2 nodes will be the two node will play the data node relays. Okay, data node roles. Okay, so data content, they will say data content or something. Okay, fine. So that is what data node. Within the data node, there are several architectures still. Okay, so we call it warm node, sorry, not hot node, cold node, freezer node. What else? Hot, warm, cold, frozen. Okay, frozen. Yeah. So there are 4 type of nodes. Okay, still you can classify. Okay, so by that, what is now, you can save the hardware profile, nothing but sir. Okay, only the ingesting data node will be in the hot node roles. Okay, then once the data is ingested, okay, most of the alerts are will take only the today data or last 1 hour data. Okay, after that, that data very rare to read, right? So then you can move that data to low hardware profile. That is separate node, in fact. Okay, that node is very low hardware profile, like SSD. Not instead of SSD, it will be hard HDD. Instead of some GBs, it can be 2 GB or 3 GB, something like that. Okay, again, it's a very old processor, something like that. Okay, you can move that move such a data to the separate node. That node has the very low profile hardware. Okay, low profile hardware. Okay, so still that we call those also as a data node. Okay, so these are the different type of roles of instance of Elasticsearch. Okay, can play. What is the specialized data nodes? Yeah, this one. Yeah, okay. Is that the data content, data hot, data warm, data cold? Okay, we call it this is called data warm, hot warm architecture. Okay, I think I have explained I think I have explained all the nodes, so all the roles. Yeah, Elasticsearch node or instance can play. Okay, but in protection, if I ignore the development, ignore the testing. Okay, but UAT environment or production environment or UAT cluster or production cluster will have these many nodes. Okay, so it is good. Okay, it is good to have dedicated node at least for some of the role, like all the data type architecture. Okay, machine learning obviously you must have. Okay, and if, of course if you are having machine learning, then it is best to have transform node. Okay, of course if you are using ingest pipeline, of course for some of the project I can use ingest pipeline. Okay, okay. In that case, we can have dedicated ingest pipeline node. Okay, since all the ingestions happening very fast. Okay, so, that is also okay. If you are having cross cluster or more than one cluster itself, then have the remote eligible node separately. Okay, thank you. Thanks for watching. I hope you like the content. Okay, okay. If you like the content, please like my videos, subscribe my channel, share with your friends. Thank you.